Hi everyone, welcome back or welcome to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Nini. Let's keep this intro short. In this video, I will be reading The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne Collins, and I have plans to watch the movie with my sister in a week. So I'm gonna try to start and finish this book by then so I can read it first before watching the movie. And when this book came out, I wasn't interested in it at all because why do I care about President Snow? I still don't care about him, but honestly the movie looks pretty good. The actor for young President Snow is unfortunately really handsome, and I am in a reading slump right now. I have started 5-ish books and they all feel fine, but they're not hitting. But I have a timeline for this, so I think I can just make this hit. So that's what we're gonna do. I will take you along on the journey, and I hope it's a good one, I guess. We'll see. My expectations are pretty low. I am only 2% in, but why am I already getting emotional? Maybe it's because I don't know how to say his name. Young President Snow. Maybe it's because he is living with his grandma and I have a soft spot for elderly people. But okay, so we learned that the red rose, his signature as the fucked up president in the Hunger Games, comes from his grandma because she loves her roses. I don't know why yet, but she presents him with a rose. It pricks his finger, and then he's wearing it because it means so much. I'm like, so this symbol that's comes from a place of familial love and also like you want to look nice becomes a symbol of fear for Katniss, and that origin of it and how it was so originally so different is just making me feel a type of way because his grandma did it. I will say the writing is great. I'm not surprised by that. I love Suzanne Collins' writing, so I'm very sucked into the world already. But it's like over 500 pages long, so we'll see how the pacing holds up. My Kindle says it's gonna take me 10 hours to finish, so we'll see. I'm about 14%, 15% of the way through the book, and I'm just thinking about how this game, this 10th anniversary one or whatever, has impacted and changed the Hunger Games so much to what it turned into when Katniss was in the games. So right now, Lucy Gray and the other tributes are trapped in a cage, underfed, not taken care of, no interaction with the audience. And it seems like Snow is the reason why the games changed so much to become so interactive and to actually try to get the audience to engage with the tributes, to feel something for them, which in the end leads to his own demise in the original trilogy, as people found so much inspiration from Katniss. And it's so interesting that he is trying to get people to like Lucy Gray. Tigress is baking for them because she sees how hungry they are. And he is the one that starts this idea of feeding them, of having the audience give to the tributes. And all of that led to his end. So I think I'm really enjoying the context this gives, even if it's hard to separate or hard to digest that someone so awful starts off so innocent. It's not like a new idea. I don't think anyone gets born into this world being automatically bad and destined to do awful things. But it is difficult to go backwards in that timeline of someone's character, where instead of starting from when they're good and then seeing them turn bad. I think it's hard to digest knowing someone is bad and then seeing how they were good, especially when it feels like the story might be trying to make you feel empathetic towards them. But I don't think that's Suzanne Collins' intention. I think she's just talking about humans and what is good and bad and nurture versus nature and broader themes than that. But yeah, I am enjoying it. Yes, you can, Lucy Gray. I just got to the part where Lucy Gray Bear just finished her interview and her song, and she was singing about her life and a past lover, and why is Snow getting jealous? He's so possessive, which shouldn't surprise me with the man he grows up to be, but ew, the entitlement. Okay, this is like the fastest I've read anything in so long. So the glare on my glasses is distracting me, but I picked up this book like 3 to 4 days ago and I'm already 50% of the way through, which is awesome considering it's a 500 plus long book. 500 page plus long book. Yeah. So good. I should have never doubted Suzanne Collins' storytelling and writing abilities. I really thought I would have no interest in the story and in Snow's high school experience and his first mentorship experience in the Hunger Games, but it's really interesting to see who he was when he was like innocent. He's a victim of a war as well, and a victim of like poverty and like losing loved ones, yet his mind is constantly focused on how he's being perceived and how he wants to work towards his future, which is fair. He wants to be successful in whatever way that means to him. But to have his character contrasted with Sejanus, who is so deeply good and deeply caring, he feels so sad for all the tributes, whereas Snow is still viewing Lucy as his opportunity to go to university, even though he's like thinking and saying and acting like he's in love with her. I think he's definitely infatuated by her because she's so different from everyone else and she just sounds like a captivating person. And some people are saying he's incapable of love, but I don't think that's fair. I think he loves and shows his love in a different way. I think he loves his family. I really enjoy watching his dynamic and interactions with Tigris, his cousin, and I just think about like what happened between them as they got older for Tigris to have been like Katniss's in District 13's sanctuary in the capital. But I think young Snow is very capable of love. I think his need for control and power just comes first, and it's interesting to see it play out in this like with his infatuation with Lucy Gray Baird. But yeah, I'm loving it. Should have never doubted Suzanne Collins. So excited to finish it. Also, with the Hunger Games happening so quickly within this like chunk of the book, I'm excited to see what happens with the rest of the story since I still have 200 plus pages left. So, back to reading. So I just finished the Hunger Games section, or the games section of the Ballads of Songbirds and Snakes, and this sounds awful to say, but the games are kind of like boring, and obviously like the games themselves are kind of are fucked up, awful. Entertainment wise, I get why the government is trying to make it more entertaining and more interactive. I really enjoyed that first like third of the book where we were really seeing Snow's childhood life, school, and how he like socializes, and just his interesting psyche. The game part itself was boring because we're following Snow's perspective and he doesn't know what's going on really until the audience sees it, which means we don't really know what's going on. So yeah, but anyways, that was short-lived. Lucy Gray won. I like the way she won. It felt very true to her character, or what we know of her character, with the snakes and everything. I think it's really interesting how he felt so inclined to save her when he saw the snakes. But that fucked him over, and now he's gonna go be a peacekeeper, which is this third act of the book, and I didn't realize that was gonna happen. I'm interested to see how this affects him and how he becomes who he does become when he's President Snow. He still has his bias and prejudices against district people versus capital people, so he's very much still like classist and stuff, but he is showing signs of just being a normal human, but knowing that he grows into becoming a man with hella power, putting young Finnick in a situation where he is being used for his body, like selling him, and us as an audience knowing that Tigress has put herself into situations like that for her family. At least I think it's implied. And he actively did that to someone else later. And he doesn't care. Because, ow, Gigi, ow. His nails. But yeah, okay, I'll stop there. Someone, please tell me why Snow seems so cute right now, because he's nervous about seeing Lucy Gray again. This is post the fight at the Hob, and he has a split lip, and he just asks Janice like, do I look all right? And why is that so endearing? This peacekeeper section is very interesting compared to the game section, so I'm reading real quick again. Okay, I just finished the Ballads of Songbirds and Snakes. Hi, Gigi. It was so good. I'm actually so upset that I didn't read this sooner, but I think the timing was perfect because I did just finish my Hunger Games trilogy reread. I really enjoyed this. I feel like obviously President Snow in the Hunger Games trilogy is awful. He's old as shit. He should have the world experiences to be empathetic and whatnot, and to like care for people and citizens, but he's not. He's the president. In order to, like, if you have I believe that if you dream of like having a position of power that high, and your motivations aren't from like a pure standpoint of like caring for things and trying to fix a system, you're inherently like gonna be shitty. You are power hungry. And we could have inferred all of that from how President Snow acted in the original trilogy. And now we know his history, his childhood, and his like teenage experiences. And I don't think the intent and the impact of this story is to bring any empathy towards President Snow. I think he is who he is in the trilogy, but I think it's very interesting as a character study to see how he fully became who he was. Because he is just like Gale, he is a product of his environment, and he grew up during a post-war period, actually during the war too, He grew up in losing status, but caring about appearances, which is a very hard thing to deal with. And he lost his parents, so he didn't really have any guidance aside from this idea of what a Snow should be and how he viewed his parents, and not having any outside experiences, resources, and stories to sway him in any other direction to be empathetic towards district people. So his characterization makes sense. Teen Snow was able to pull on my heartstrings a little bit because, like, he's lost. He's really just doing the best he can with who he is, with the anecdotes that he hears from the capital. Like, how he's thinking isn't inherently wrong. He's just a very selfish, power hungry kid who was then groomed by Dr. Gall. And I know grooming is used in a particular way these days, but she saw something in him. She knew that she could mold that something in a way that worked with her versus against her, because he did show moments of deep compassion and empathy for Lucy Gray. So he's capable. It's not his first instinct, because it was so easy for him to leave Lucy Gray and to quickly like think that she is fucking him over. So he has issues deep down. That's very obvious. But he does have moments of like genuine care. And I think those moments show in a way that's not good, because he is so into the structure and the need of the Hunger Games, because he loves control and he thinks control is the best and needed. He thinks the capital is what is like amazing and needs to control the district. So anything that happens in the capital is amazing, right? But that's why the games changed so much from this 10th game to what we saw in the 74th, 75th, because it's a shit show in the early stages. And Dr. Gall made him become a peacekeeper so he could see how the poorest district is viewing the Hunger Games and whether or not it's having an impact. But now that he cares about control, or realizes how much he cares about control, he is going to try to make the Hunger Games better. And we know what it looks like in his time and Katniss's time. And in the epilogue, it mentioned all the things that he changed, like adding the Victor Village, providing food. I'm sure he is a reason why tributes get fed really well before, because I think on some hand he felt so sad that Lucy Gray couldn't eat when he did have to care about a tribute. And then he realizes for entertainment value, like, they need to be alive. The uniformity of the clothes, so no one stands out and no one is hurt by it, I think that is related to Lucy Gray. And then also the token, having something from your district. All of those things added obviously can be for entertainment value, which makes people want to watch the Hunger Games more. But I think on one hand, that tiny bit of empathy he had for Lucy Gray is influencing how he believes the Hunger Games should be structured, and he's willing to make those changes because it would benefit the games as like a system. So definitely not saying he's like hella romantic or anything like that. He has a ton of issues, and I can't imagine like the shock you would feel like when you're in your 80s and then your first love basically comes back to haunt you in the form of more District 12 tributes, and then the parallel of Katniss and Peeta also having or utilizing a love story to keep them safe in the Hunger Games, and he did the same with Lucy Gray. Like, that was really interesting to think about. I don't know. I'm just word vomiting at this point. I'll probably just go on TikTok and see what other people have to say, but I will conclude this video by saying, if you read The Hunger Games when you're growing up and you love them, and now you are an adult like me, it is time for a reread. And if you haven't picked up The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes yet, I think you should. I think you should do that right after you reread the Hunger Games trilogy, so everything is fresh in your mind, and I believe it's totally worth it. And I think it's really fun to know what the songs sound like now too, because the movie is out. I've not seen the movie yet, but I'm genuinely looking forward to it. Okay, I need to pick up a different book or scroll on TikTok or something, but that's it for this video. Thank you for coming along the journey with me. Bye.